All right. I want to thank this young man for filming this video. You can talk. So everybody, who are you?
Carson Young.
All right, Carson, appreciate you. Now listen, this is how your Pratt Pack rolls. I got to have the orange and the black, even though it's Titleist. And we're going to be talking golf later tonight. I got a surprise for you. But we're headed also down to the Larry Bruno Foundation to get caught up with Stevie Higgins. We have a lot of stuff to get to with that great foundation. But this is the foundation of Larry Bruno, the complex, of course, people like Namath and others. And now the latest head coach of your Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers, a Monaca native who played for one of my all-time favorites and great high school coaches, Al Guandola, back in the late 80s, Jim Mooney. All right, Carson, come in a little bit closer here. Coach, it's been a rough road, but I know you're going to get this thing turned around. There's a lot of pride. You got a lot of exciting things that lie ahead, including that Little Brown Jug game against New Brighton. And you coached in New Brighton for a while, and you've seen what Coach McCoog has been able to do there. So one thing about high school football, and I've been around the game a long time, you have your ups and downs, and every once in a while you go through these periods. Talk about your team.
I don't think it's a down right now. I mean, the games haven't gone out the way we've wanted them to, but we knew coming in we were a young team. We've got a loaded schedule. We played a 4A Blackhawk. Wick's doing a great job out there. On to Amani Christian, North Catholic for a scrimmage. I mean, these kids, it was crazy. And then we opened up, of course, with Western Beaver and Mohawks, the two of the better teams in our conference. So no disrespect to anybody else. MAC is the MAC. It's going to be tough every week. And, like you said, you got New Brighton coming up. That'll be a big game. But really, we're not even talking about that kind of stuff.
You got Freedom coming up.
Freedom right now. So that's all the focus is.
And let's talk a little bit about your time in Monaca with Al Guandola. Al Guandola, maybe one of the most underappreciated head coaches in this cradle of coaches ever. And Larry Bruno really sent many on to the coaching ranks. Judge Mancini, Bobby Blythe, Larry Matrazzo. But when you think of Al Guandola, listen, I was there covering Monaca back in the day, and Coach Lyons, if he were here, he'd echo my sentiments. Maybe one of the most intelligent, offensive-minded coaches in the history of high school football. Talk about that time with Al Guandola.
Well, Coach Guandola was our head coach, but my guy was Coach O'Neill, and that was my legend guy right there. He was my line coach, and what a great football coach he was too. So that whole staff was just loaded. I mean, that was Sam Nardone was on that staff, Mark Lyons was on that staff, of course, Coach Guandola. I mean, those guys, that was a unit right there.
Here's what I got to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I was only fortunate to cover one because I was always in Eastern Ohio on Friday nights. The Rochester-Monaca battle for the bridge, those games, unless you were there, it's hard to even imagine. And even though they were smaller schools then too, I don't know if there was a better rivalry anywhere in Western Pennsylvania when it came to Friday Night Lights. It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool, definitely.
Who were some of the players that you played against at Rochester?
Sammy, jeez. You got to ask me questions
That's
from 35 years ago, man.
You can handle it.
It was Wee Wee Levette, Sammy Chalmers, JJ Shineman. The Essex, I think, was a freshman my senior year, if I'm not mistaken.
Already playing like a man.
Yeah, already playing like a man, exactly. Yeah, those were some good teams. Those were good battles for sure.
All right, so listen, I brought this up one time when I was doing my top 10 in various sports in Beaver County. Did it at Reeve Stadium. My son was filming a long time ago, probably Carson's age at the time. The guy shooting this video, still in school. I believe that Essex Law is the greatest running back Beaver County has ever had.
A lot of people in Beaver Falls want to fight you for that, man.
There
ain't no way I'm claiming that.
Like that assistant you got here, Dwight Collins.
There ain't no way I'm getting into that argument. No way, man.
But here's what I found out and I didn't realize. Mercury Morris just passed away. Yeah. And at one time, the top 3 running backs in the country included him and a guy by the name of Ron Poe James from New Brighton. So I'm sitting with Essex one night at the VFW Monaca. And, he broke the single season point total, which was held by Poe James. And here I never realized, he said, well, I'm related to Poe James. And I went, what?
Right? Yeah,
and he called Poe James and got him on the phone. So he made my day. And I have a lot of respect and love for my longtime friend, Essex Law, who I remember growing up in Rochester while hanging out with the Pratt family, my cousins. We were all in the same neighborhood. It was a lot of fun. This history at Beaver Falls, talk about what an honor and joy it must be. After a long time being an assistant coach, Nick Nardone had great success, steps aside, and you step in. How does it feel being the coach of Beaver Falls?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a little overwhelming at times because you do have all that history. Larry Bruno, of course, we were just down there the other day. They had us down for a dinner, but those names meant something to me. Larry Bruno was a football camp that I went to when I was a kid out at Brady's Run Park. So I carry that tradition pretty heavy, man. And believe me, this season's been tough, like you said, but you know, that's one of the things I like about this place is they do expect that. So even if there is people tearing us apart a little bit right now, I want that. I don't ever want to be in a town that doesn't expect a winner. And that's what the expectations are. We're going to do our best to meet those. But, you know, I was telling Steve down there at the Foundation, yeah. They have a saying here that once a tiger, always a tiger. And that was one of the things that struck me when I first came over here. That means something to a lot of the people in this town. And I appreciate that, you know, and there's a lot of names in this town, the Cleckleys and their number 22s. And I mean, they just go on and on and on. And that tradition means a lot to me. Just being from Monaca, I feel like we had that same kind of a traditional thought process that went on. The expectations were always high. And, you know, of course now Monaca's merged, but I still carry that. I carry that pretty heavy. So yeah, that means a lot.
Here's what's ironic, that Rochester coach that you've faced more times than not, Dan Matsuk, another legendary coach player, was the reason why I believe that Monaca Center High School merger went so seamlessly. He was the superintendent. Mark Lyons goes in there. Yeah. They have a big game against Avonworth tomorrow night.
Yep.
Just tell me about your team, your thought process as a coach, and then we'll let you go. And again, Jim Mooney. And by the way, when I saw Mooney from New Brighton, I said, I got to know this guy. And he said, yeah, I'm from New Brighton, but I'm not related to the Mooney. So that's really ironic because that's a legendary name in New Brighton. But talk about your philosophy.
So, well, right now, the whole point of the year was to get better, and that's what I think we're doing. And defensively, I think last week the kids stepped up pretty big. You know, I don't call them freshmen anymore. We don't have any more freshmen on this team. And these guys have been playing for 5-6 weeks now against Division I athletes. That ship has done sailed. So it's time to start showing out now. It's time to start playing. And I see it. I see a lot of them kids that are young in age, but they've got a lot of experience now. So you're talking some guys that are starting both ways in some cases as freshmen that, you know, it takes a long time to get those reps as a freshman. And these guys are going against some of the best in the county, best in Western Pennsylvania for that matter. So yeah, we're all done with that kind of talk now. It's time to start putting some results out there. And that includes me as well. That's calling this offense. I got to get better at that. I mean, we're just looking for steady improvement at this point.
You're kind of a little bit of an old school. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right. Freedom tomorrow night. Just thought process.
Tough team. You know, tough team. Same thing as Beaver County football. They're going to come and try and play that smash mouth with you. And, you know, I like that kind of football. You know, all that air it out stuff. And there's a place for that everywhere now, I guess. But to me, I still like they come out in that full house coming at you. There's no secrets there. Big kids, strong kids. It's going to be a good battle.
Listen,
looking forward to tomorrow.
I can't thank you enough. And look, I have a very special place in my heart for Beaver Falls.
Appreciate that.
Goes way back. And just know we appreciate you. Nothing but continued success.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Power of Bowser, Friday Night Lights, KDK tomorrow. The A team. This is the B team. I'm out doing this while they're getting ready to do Quest for the Best tonight. And then tomorrow, Dan Zan, Grilling and Company on the call. It's North Allegheny at Central Catholic. Don't miss it. Don't forget Coons Quality Food Sports Reports. We have that great Coons Market here in Hopewell and the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show each and every week after local news at 11. More sports at 937thefan.com.